Jenni White of Restore Oklahoma Public Education. Thanks for joining us on Choice Media. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Bob.
Oklahoma now joining Indiana in the list of Common Core rejectors. I guess, some states like Alaska and Texas never got on the Common Core train to begin with, but the new wave are states like yours, Oklahoma, which apparently just yesterday rejected Common Core. Tell us your reaction.
Well, we're actually ecstatic, and I would go beyond and say we actually have a better bill than any of the bills in the nation right now, because although those are a start, South Carolina, Indiana, and that's great, and it indicates the fact that parents are, pushing back. This isn't what they are approving of. This particular bill really absolutely stops Common Core.
So what's the difference between how Oklahoma stopped Common Core versus how Indiana stopped Common Core?
Well, a couple of big things, actually. We've taken 2 years in the standards. We have 2 years to create our standards, so that's a good thing. But then I think the biggest things that we've done, which are the most exciting, is this. We have to, once the standards are created, and our state school board is in charge of creating the standards, but once they're actually created, then what we do is we take those standards and we compare them against the Common Core. And then that way we have an opportunity to see, is Common Core creeping back into the standards, or do we actually have Oklahoma standards here? And then a second thing that's a really great thing about this bill is we have legislative oversight of the bill. And there's been a lot of discussion about that here in Oklahoma. Well, legislators can't be writing standards, and that's just silly. Well, it's a silly argument, because the legislators aren't writing standards. They're just reviewing the standards. And that's really not the legislature itself. People forget we have a representative government. So the legislators are the voice of the people. So if the people love them and they're satisfied, awesome. If there's a real outcry over something, then the people have an opportunity to actually express their opinions then through their legislators.
I gather that from what I was hearing, it wasn't altogether clear Governor Mary Fallin would sign the Repeal Common Core bill, and then in fact she did. And so tell me that arc. Were you surprised? Was it how much effort went into her persuasion?
Well, there was there was a lot of effort. There's kind of a downturn, I think, here today because we're just all exhausted. There was a lot of effort going into it, and I think it was certainly a pleasant surprise, but I would have to say we were, I think, a little surprised, because within the last several days, we had a large effort by the State School Boards Association and the Superintendents Association and the PTA and an organization called Stand for Children. They kind of coalesced together and managed to pay between $30,000 and $40,000 for some very large full-page ads in our two major newspapers. And of course, as moms, kind of funding this all on spaghetti dinner, that really was not an option at all for us. So we were very concerned that what might actually happen was, that money would win out. That's kind of been historically, our concern. And so we were very, very pleased that she listened to the parents.
Now, Common Core supporters would say something like this to you. They would say, when you leave this to the states, as wasn't the case with No Child Left Behind originally, states produce watered-down standards because they want to create very high rates of passage, low cut scores on tests, make it seem like the schools are doing well, so everyone gets reelected, and it seems like make everyone happy. They will produce artificially easy standards, artificially easy tests, and that's simply what Oklahoma is now on the course to do again.
Well, and I can actually see that argument. I think that's the reason why we all have to be vigilant in this particular effort. All of us, everybody on both sides of this argument needs to maintain a level of vigilance, because I think what we do in education today, you have parents who actually drop their kids off and just kind of figure that that's the end of it for the day. And they forget to check kids' homework, and they forget to do these kinds of things. We just seem to think that education is going to take care of itself, and we've got to stop doing that and maintain a level of engagement like the kind that we've had during this particular fight. You can't just put it down and walk off. So I think all of us must maintain some form of vigilance, because no matter what the Chamber of Commerce says, Parents don't want dumbed down standards. It doesn't do any good for them. They don't want their kids living in their basement because they can't find a job. I mean, let's be realistic about this. Parents want their kids to be educated in the most excellent manner possible. So I just adjure people to continue their vigilance and maintain strong involvement, and let's not allow that to happen.
Jenni White, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.